Justin, hi. How are you feeling? How are you feeling this morning?
Tired.
Yeah?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
You don't the king of Katowice, you don't want to talk to me?
No.
You're the reigning champ.
I'm tired.
Back to back. Well, okay. Swanee, mate, you're coaching these lads. Is it out of control?
No.
It's fun. Here he is, the man himself. Well, yeah, we can talk to them too, mate. How you doing? How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Does it feel weird, you know, you got Justin on your team this time, and last time you kind of ruined?
Help us now to lift the trophy here.
Good start to the year though. Last groups was pretty nice. You're riding the higher, is that like, things go too well, what's going to go wrong here?
Definitely last events. We are on a very good path. Yeah, we're very focused on ourselves right now and we are confident. But yeah, it's the first really big tournament for us in a while, so we'll see how it goes. But we are definitely aiming for a trophy.
Okay, were you on the late flight as well? You just got here, like, it was a bit delayed. I heard there was a few travel issues.
Yeah, myself and Hunter, we didn't have issues, but Buxi and Justin, they had some issues in the plane, but they arrived safely. They're happy to see some good places. But yeah, it's all so far.
How's the hair going this morning, mate? How you looking? How you feeling? Just good. So first time round, you're in the grand final. Second time round, fill in the blank. You got to go now. You have to go now. But any words to the people at home?
Love you.
Goodbye, mate.
He's still here. Oh, they lined up. He's actually hit 1+2. He did damage. That's going to drop them down. It's all on Hunter. And it's all over. Hunter with the final kill. And FaZe finally on the stage in Katowice will take a championship. And you can see what it means to Kerrigan as he falls to his knees.
And why not? What a performance from everyone across FaZe. The mastermind himself.
The Intel Extreme Masters Katowice the champions. FaZe playing in 2022.
Yeah, that's right. Just shy of 1 year for this grand final rematch in Katowice. That's because both these two teams saw themselves fighting it tooth and nail in a pretty close 3-map best of 5, and we're going to get into that because you can talk about Mirage all day for that one. 31-27, overtime in the first map as well, and then all 30 there at the very end, ultimately culminating in FaZe picking up the trophy here in Katowice. And me welcome you back to the Intel Extreme Masters, joined alongside of YMK and Blend. Hold on.
Yes,
started right
indeed. A 3-0 win for FaZe last year, but there were 4, maps worth of rounds in that game.
Yeah.
Probably one of the closest 3-0s you're ever going to see in a Counter-Strike Grand Final. And yeah, I mean, maybe G2 has just picked the one ingredient that mattered. Zach JKS, who was a stand-in for FaZe last time around in the playoffs for Rain, initially for Robs. And yeah, just an amazing final, and hopefully we have the same level of CS and same level of excitement in this game too.
Yeah, there's a caliber of Counter-Strike that we're about to play. Can you give us a test, maybe an idea?
This could be, at least on paper, the game for the team. And I know it's in the group stage and whatnot, and you could allude to maybe these two teams face off in the playoffs as well, maybe a potential grand finals right now. FaZe, the team of the year last year, although they kind of tapered off a little bit at the end, and G2 finally finding the group is really, really deadly. If you're a fan of Counter-Strike, you should be watching this right now.
Yeah, but I mean, both these teams won the same number of games in Rio, right? I don't want to, beat on a dead horse here, but it's true. And it wasn't necessarily the showing that we expected from FaZe Clan, who did sit on the cusp of maybe grabbing that Intel Grand Slam. They also had the opportunity to do it here. I was talking to Kerrigan this morning. He said that would be a nice bit of pressure off and a nice little payday.
Like a wise man said once upon a time, shit happens. I don't know who said it. And
Confucius, I think.
Yeah, Confucius right there. But it do be like that at times, right? And for a side of FaZe, sure, and G2 as well. They weren't there in Rio, and it's a nicely put there. Trace, and neither of them won any maps in that major. But despite that, they still look good. FaZe, sure, it did look a little shaky. They didn't win anything after that, but they still made some very deep runs, made things very competitive. And G2 finally kind of breaking the curse, so to speak, make things very tantalizing indeed.
Yeah, I think plenty of opportunities still for FaZe to win that Intel Grand Slam, even if it doesn't happen in Katowice, right? They still have the IM Brazil, they still have Pro League, and they still have Dallas. So obviously they're going to, in every tournament that FaZe plays in, the goal is to win the tournament. They have the quality for it, they have the players, and they seem to be in form too at the moment, right? Both of these teams are yet to lose this year. They haven't lost in, and the last matches that they lost were to each other.
Which is kind of wild.
For FaZe, it was to G2 in the semi-final of World Finals, and for G2, it was to FaZe in the group stages of that same event. So tells you that how close that rivalry has been over the past year. Always great CS, atomic CS, I like to call it, atomic, and very, very close games.
Yeah, is when you say atomic, just a little bit of a kick there. When you say that, you mean it because right there at the very beginning of it, the minutia is so detailed, right? Like
I think because it's CS played at the highest level in terms of strategy, in terms of you have sick individuals on both teams, and their philosophies are very similar, right? It's having strategies and tactics and moves to create space for your players to do their thing, right? For G2, it's the core of Nico, Monacy, and Hunter. On FaZe, it's Brocky, Robs, Twist. I mean, Rain is probably, FaZe is a four-headed monster in a way, and G2 is trying to replicate that with JKS. I think JKS has been the catalyst for G2, him stepping up in his role, right, playing very well as an anchor, being good as a closer on the T side, sort of, and that's what enabled them to lift the trophy in Abu Dhabi and have a great start to 2023.
2022, though, well, we won't go back that far. In fact, we are going to hear a little bit about G2 and what the woes, trials, and tribulations might feel like.
Want a backside naded out. Monacy suspects that he might be there. He's looking for his way. His game allegiance all the time. Flashes in. IM forced away. Isaac with a kill. 2-on-2. Hunter detected. IM with the frag. Monacy with an all to do. He gets the wall bang in and hunts for the last man. He's got the kid. Needs the ace. Only hits the leg shot. The USP comes out, but it's a cold day in hell. Game and Legion have eliminated G2 from the European RMR as they stay alive, bound for the major. Look on their faces tells it all as their road to Rio ends here.
Ah, yes, that one time G2 didn't qualify for that one.
To be, in hindsight, it seemed to have been the best thing that could happen to G2, because you could see them after that, they were crushed. The worst thing that can happen to you is to not even make it to the major, right? And it happened, and guess what? Life goes on. You're still alive, you're still kicking, right? And I think they had way too much pressure on their shoulders, and expectations were too high on Huxi as well, right? Like, you're coming into a team from Copenhagen Flames where it's, you need to be the best in the world. Nothing less than that will do, right? And after that loss, you realize you can't rush it, you can't get ahead of yourself, you need to start off from scratch, build it brick by brick, and that's what they did. And although result-wise it wasn't great in fall finals, right, it was a little bit too early, at World Finals it all came together, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. The atmosphere in the team is extremely good, like they've kept everything, they didn't bother adding like a different coach, they kept Swanee on, like it's working for them, why change anything? And that's why they're in such good form at the moment.
Yeah, reinventing the wheel has never been fun for anyone. I don't know many people who try to do that. What I do know is that even if you do make it to the major, nothing is promised. Let's find out what happens today.
Looking, bomb, lost, no, FaZe Clan need a hero, and Twist might just be that man. No, they might check him. Spotted out, Scenario reacts. Oh no, it's only Carrigan. Is this really happening? A slow start, but a more painful finish. Carrigan 2 to 5, and they're out. Unbelievable. Bad news, Eagles, and the bad is the bad news for FaZe.
Bad news, Eagles eliminate the world #1. Last place in the Legend stage, going home early. No back-to-back major, no Intel Grand Slam.
Nothing about that Rio expenditure went the way FaZe wanted.
Yeah, that was just such a gut punch, because everyone's kind of setting up FaZe to kind of claim the Intel Grand Slam at the major itself, because they kind of fumbled a little bit in Pro League as well. But the fact that they had a couple of best ones, not quite going the way bad news sequence. We started Vertigo, Float coming out, they kind of hoping it might pan out, but unfortunately when you don't leave yourself much room, much margin for error to work, but even the best teams out there can fall face falling right there. I think it also kind of sets the trend of seeing a lot of top tier teams have a lot of upsets taking place, so to speak. Right now, the end of last year for me was kind of the real parity era of Counter-Strike, where we had really good teams who could still falter against teams where they should on paper win it. So I think that was a great example right there of FaZe kind of failing to deliver.
But on both sides of this coin, there's so many talented individuals, Janko, and it goes without saying. You can just look at the rosters as they're listed. I guess the idea that they could slip and falter in one way or the other, which might not even be massive, downfalls, could cost somebody around it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you enjoy watching games like this. You have some of the world's most skilled players going head-to-head in a situation where they're both really well prepared, been together for a long time, and this is now it's about getting it done and lifting trophies, right? And this is not the end of the road for either team. If you lose this game, you go to the lower bracket, you can still make the playoffs, still make your run from there, but absolutely you want to kick it off with the right foot and maybe secure that straight burst into the semifinals.
Yeah, and one thing that might help you too is perhaps some pistol rounds. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, in this year, it's been absolutely unreal. Like, I can't remember that I've ever seen something like this. G2, in all of their matches, they won all but 3 pistol rounds. They're 13-3 this year. Every second round, they've converted once they won pistol. And the 3 pistols that they lost, they won the force buy, right? And it's very important for viewers at home to understand when you get a good start to halves, it's a completely different game that you play. Like, you have good economy from the start. You can take a little bit more risks in terms of calling, in terms of just, individually how you're playing, and you're playing from ahead. That's always easier to do, and we're yet to see G2 in this year having to come back from behind, right, in games, like having to win multiple gun rounds to get back into the game, and I think they're obviously capable of doing it. It's just, when is it going to happen? It's bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, eventually. There's a law of averages there, too. Let's talk about our Colex players to watch. First, we're going to hear about them. m0NESY and Broky. One there.
2 of Counter-Strike's top lineups mean our Colex players to watch are in for a real battle. First off, if it ain't Broky, don't fix it. After disappointment in Rio, FaZe seem to have dusted off their injured egos and hopped straight back on the bike to victory with a solid start to the year in Copenhagen. Katowice has been kind to the Latvian AWPer, as only a year ago, it's the city where Broky picked up his first MVP award. For continued success, he must remain consistent and adjust to whatever evolving situations his team puts him in. Where's the m0NESY, Lebowski? That's what Na'Vi asked for when G2 came knocking on their door about the availability of the young, up-and-coming superstar in the making, known as the Baby Goat. Before G2 can shine, he must step up and help erase the pain of missing out on the Rio Major at the end of 2022. m0NESY is a vital cog in turning his team's fortune around. No matter which player you root for, this game is going to come down to the wire.
Well, at least that's what we hope for. It's going to be a pretty big thing, a pretty big test. Janko, before we jump into these vetoes, can you tell me what it would mean for either of these teams to set up a precedent right here, set a pace for the new year?
I think absolutely. I've been here, this rivalry has been ongoing, and it's one of those good rivalries. It's not, villains or anything like that. I mean, Nico's been in FaZe for a long time, teammates with Carrigan, Robin, Rain, right? So it's just sort of a good game, right? Like good feelings, obviously enemies on the server, but I think, talking about the 2 players, what I mentioned about JKS for G2, I feel that's Broky for FaZe. When Broky is really like on point, when he has a really good tournament, that's what pushes FaZe to lift the trophy, and he was the MVP last year. Can he do it again?
And also the really cool thing, I love the fact that we had Broky and m0NESY, with Broky, as you said, MVP of last year in Katowice, and for m0NESY, that was a breakout event, right? He comes out there, his very first game in front of that crowd, and he still delivers, and it was against Na'Vi. So absolutely these 2 players to watch. And Tracy mentioned as well the maps. The really cool thing about these 2 teams are the fact that the 2 maps where they like to play Inferno and Nuke are the 2 maps that these 2 teams are probably the best in the world on. So I'm expecting to see these 2 maps come out to play, maybe as a decider map, maybe as an opening map, but that is going to be such high caliber Counter-Strike on Inferno and Nuke, which I love to see.
Yeah, no overpass, no vertigo, and this is probably where you look at, vertigo is something that people would like to pick against G2, but for FaZe, that's not an option. So maybe something like an Ancient, right? If they wanna go for something that's more of a weakness for G2, at least on paper. And G2 themselves feel extremely confident. They don't care that Nuke is a great map for FaZe. They just go straight into that pick. And I think this is where an Inferno decider all over.
Inferno should be decided. FaZe pick for Ancient coming in primarily because the last time G2 played Ancient, and they've only played it once in the past 3 or 4 months, was that dropping from FaZe in the group stage of the World Finals. The 16-4 beatdown from FaZe. So yeah, this could be a bang.
But you know, that beatdown is G2 losing the second map in overtime, and it's one of those things where it feels like they just got completely deflated after not being able to close it out. And on the third map, we've seen that happen before.
Well, Nico going 35 and 19 over CT in the series kind of helps too. Right? I mean, inversely, you look at Rops was on the same wavelength, but on a ball field of his own. Guys, I don't know if you realize how big the mind games are. They've already started in here. They just, we just had the team huddles. I couldn't have been the only one that just heard FaZe say G2.
They did.
And then yelled that out to the entire room. I'm not sure what they said, but I didn't hear it.
Idemo, it's let's go in Serbian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they all speak Serbian now?
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's changing over.
That was what FaZe cheered when Nico was the only player in FaZe with Carrigan and Rain also before. It's just funny to say something else than let's go.
Of course, yeah, change it up. But I do like it because obviously you think about these two teams being on a caliber of their own. And for a lot of last year, FaZe definitely was untouchable.
And listen, if you go to that semi-final game at World Finals that G2 won, like Nuke was 16-14 and G2 won some ridiculous rounds. Like towards the end of that game, I think the score is 13-13. G2 force buys a couple of MP9s, pistols. They just rush lobby straight from spawn and they catch FaZe off guard, right? They win that round, and then at 14-14, Hunter and JKS are in a 2v4 and they somehow win that with the bomb planted on the A box. Like that was the round where JKS's mouse jumps. Like, and
he still gets the 1v2.
In the 1v1. So those were some really freaky rounds that they were able to win and close it out on the second map. So FaZe was very much in that series as well, and I'm curious to see how they fare this time around, Trace.
We're going to have to sit around. We're going to have to wait and see how it all pans out. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your expertise as well as your company. But the company now turns its attention over into the game itself. FaZe, DE2, and what some are saying is the match of the day.
No rest on this stream. The carnage will continue. New teams to the plate, new maps as well. On off the Porker on Wax once again. You know when microphones first became a thing, Sam was recorded on Wax. Why did I say that?
Gotcha.
It is history. There's plenty of history on the walls in the Hall of Heroes, and more history to be recorded right now. G2, the aggressors on Nuke. Full Kevlar for FaZe Clan, along with the USPs as well. Mixed bag for G2 with a P50 on Nico and some utility to boot. Hunter will be the first man to fall in this series. The only one so far, Modesty and Nico soon to follow, in fact, as the last two will make their way towards B. Certainly heard by FaZe Clan. Rops awaits them as they try to plant the bomb.
Rops will try to deny, and he will do just that. JKS aced the pistol yesterday, not today. Brokey shuts him down. It is a clean pistol for FaZe. That's something G2 have been so good at lately. They've been winning pistols. They've been winning second rounds. This time that may not happen. And if you're not excited for this game, you're not a fan of Counter-Strike. This is an unreal matchup. These are the two teams a lot of people are picking to win the whole damn tournament. We're fortunate enough to get it in groups.
Nico has a Desert Eagle. Everybody else has a Glock. He will be the highlight for this round, most likely for G2. Classic Blaze. See Brokey towards T-Red on the outside. Early start to an epic battle. We've seen a fair amount of G2 already, of course. Very engaging gameplay from them. They'll need to be at peak performance for the likes of FaZe Clan. See Nico hunting. See what's on his mind through his crosshair. Quick look towards Secret. There's no when a trade fragger might pop out. They've got time to wait, G2. Ultimately, they must meet their demise, and they certainly will. For now, we'll try to find some frags. Nico moving forward now.
He's trying it.
He is. But there we go. The Desert Eagle has been lost, but that's Hunter onto Rain, and he manages to frag Brokey as well and find a Desert Eagle. Now we have to start wondering about bomb plant. The bomb hasn't been spotted just yet. FaZe Clan suddenly limited on numbers. Rocks with the FAMAS Bursto. Like he's pressed right click, so far so good. He'll secure the bomb as well. Man like Rock stopping the bleeding. Leaving Hunter to try and find a third. No bomb plant, but damage is reasonable by G2.
Yeah, not a bad round, all things considered. G2 will have plenty of cash for the buy after saving so heavily. I think here on Nuke, I'm really looking at this as a Nico versus Rain matchup on Yard. They were the two best players in the world at playing Yard last year. Nico had a 1.55 CT rating on Nuke, and Reigns was a 1.41. They were so far above any other rifler on this map, and the fact they go head-to-head in that position is going to be so intriguing to watch. Rain got the better of him on the pistol, but now it's into the gun round, the real meat and potatoes. Nico could win maps by himself on Yard, man. He can entry there like crazy sometimes. Warning shot onto Rain there.
Sign of things to come, perhaps.
Замирание у него какой-то очень плохой билд, я не знаю.
Danny,
Играл на второй
back on
Миране,
the server. Congratulations to Rain.
Нужно играть нормально на Миране, а не как...
And to the wife as well, of course.
Got a double rotation down from FaZe. Snap rope position themselves down to be out to be tested here. G2 round the corner. Brokey spots the info. Twist unexpected, able to take two with him. And now Brokey will drop back to the site with some more assistance.
Got the information, they've seen the bomb. 30 seconds might be a long time though. If JKS can find something. I think Hunter's very deliberately trying to make a lot of sound here. Now it's only Hunter and JKS remaining. I don't know how much they can expect to get.
I think Carrigan's actually in trouble here. He's in a sandwich. He's about to get taken down. Yeah, surely must have seen the man below. Finally comes back for the second. And all of a sudden, G2 have put this round back in the balance.
How has this happened? FaZe Clan on the back foot now. Robs with a defuse kit. JKS on the outside. And suddenly Robs is alone. How about that for a response? JKS and Hunter turning things around here. Waiting for the smoke to go with Robs. He has a rough idea that someone's in heaven, but where is the trade frag? Where is that last man? There he is, Hunter with the crouch peak, delivering the final kill. Emotionless, because there is much more work to do.
That could be a bad omen for FaZe, because in the previous matchup between these two teams on this very map, it was 14-14, and Hunter and JKS won a 2v4, similar to this. Flashbacks for FaZe. And that's actually such a fascinating storyline here. When FaZe were at their peak, when they were at their best last year, they were known as the team who always came through in the clutch. Now I feel like that's G2. G2 always seems to find a way to clutch. It's almost like they've stolen FaZe's identity. And now they want to become the best team in the world. Nico taking huge damage on Yard. It's still a goodbye for FaZe. With these deeds, you can't count them out. Oh, Nico gets across safely.
He's got to be real careful about those tracers. This week, all the rounds we've seen, or many of the rounds we've seen like this, like what FaZe Clan have in terms of equipment, it's so dangerous. The level of skill is simply so high here. It's a great way to eliminate him. Free upgrade for Hooksy. Haven't even mentioned m0NESY yet. So many personalities on this server. Really a matchup of colossal proportions. G2 with 49 seconds on the clock, 5 on 3. They'll be comfortable for now, collecting the bomb. Wayne's got a nice angle though. JKS is ready for it. As sneaky as the angle was, the spatial awareness is sharp.
can just see the quality of Counter-Strike on display already. Every round feels like there's so much intrigue going into it. Twist is down low. Won't matter though. G2 with a clean up in that one. And remember, FaZe fully invested there. They only had one rifle and pistols, but that was all their money invested into that round. So it should be a moment for G2 to breathe. And a chance for them to get a pretty solid start here on the T side of things.
Full USP round from FaZe Clan. Concentrate their efforts together. A number of teams successfully capitalize on chaos with these USPs, and here's the attempt. Common anti-eco position for m0NESY. So you can hold lobby, but also fall back if necessary. JKS can use some support now to hold on to his rifle. Lovely shots from m0NESY. Not his favourite weapon, but it will certainly do. So G2 will soon be taking the lead. 3 rounds from 5 on the T side is a good start.
Yeah, and I think on their opening games, both these teams had a pretty similar story. They both won 2-0 against teams they should have been beating. G2 beat Big, FaZe beat Spirit. But I don't think either side showed they were at their best. G2 had a pretty close map against Big in one of them. Didn't really see the individuals fully loosened up. And FaZe also had a pretty close map against Spirit. So both these teams maybe with some shaky moments, but still strong starts in their opening games. And we'll get to see who is warmer in this one. Nico getting a nice couple of kills. Good to see him getting on the board. G2 get themselves into the lead for the first time on Nuke.
Comfortable map for Nico, perhaps with the odd night.
I feel like, yeah, sure. Less said about that, the better. Yeah, I feel like Nico, there's a strong argument for him being the best player in the world on this map. Just the impact he can have by playing aggressive on yard is crazy. He can put so much pressure on that position. What have G2 got in mind here? Fast play potentially into this A-bomb site.
JKS believing in his teammates to extinguish that fire. Twist trying to stay alive, but that's not going to happen. Brokey will just about deliver something, but what of the rest of his team? G2 Esports speed running into the A-bomb site. Left FaZe Clan with very few decisions to make. Matter of survival, I think, for Brokey and Rain.
Yeah, this was a tough round for FaZe, actually. If you saw back at the start of the round, they got the buy together, but their utility was really lacking. I don't know if G2 picked up on that. It's really hard to know specifically exactly how many nades your opponents are going to have. You've really got to calculate the economy to the most minute of details. And I don't think FaZe had that many incendiaries early, or really pieces of utility to stop this fast A play. I love that call from G2. They're hunting in spawn. FaZe will save elsewhere. But G2 with an incredible start here.
Pause by FaZe Clan. It is by territory. Actually, no, it's not by territory. They've got $3,000 per person. The AK and the M4 A1S. And indeed, they will buy some. There'll be some spending some cash around these rifles, but may not be the full investment. Try and keep the money together enough for the round to come. But they won't want to be conceding too many more rounds on their CT side. G2 could get some nice momentum going. They could keep the CT money poor, keep them lacking an item here or there. Then it could be a comfortable path for them for 4 or 5 rounds at least. Orders being deployed by Carrigan. Well then, P250, Desert Eagle, utility, and a plan.
Slower start this time for G2. Probably figured they are against a weakened buy this time. G2 tend to like these yard smokes quite a lot. pretty sure in the previous matchup, they barely went for any of those A rushes. So maybe a little surprising for FaZe to see that early in this one. Again, always playing a dangerous game, and this time, the combined spam through the smoke is effective. Rain covered one angle, Brokey the other, but look at JKS almost catching Brokey.
If he did, part of me feels like there would be 3 G2 players remaining with Rox's position elevated on the boxes. That's the kind of advantage FaZe Clan were looking for in a round such as this. Can't retrieve the rifle anytime soon. They can sit on that lead. AWP for m0NESY delivers a frag onto Rain. Towards heaven now. 30 seconds on the clock. Where are G2 headed? That is the question. On that, FaZe Clan need to identify. We can see G2 start to bunch together now. Really running this clock down. Definitely a show of confidence. Twist to the back of the site. m0NESY misses. How are we going to block this bomb is the question for G2. Jacob looking to clear the side, but Brokey's here with the rifle. Down goes the bomb, and surely the round is about to be lost as well. Running out of time. Rox running through with the Unicorn MP9. Just wants to show everyone the horn.
FaZe win a big round right back. G2 had a steal of a round earlier in a 2v4. They show they can do the exact same. Brokey on the bomb site, cuts down 2 players. And G2 take just a little too long. If you've got 10 more seconds here, it's probably fine. You run down Brokey and you get the bomb down. But instead, it turns into a position where you just don't have the time. Karrigan just has to survive. It's already a back and forth start in this one, and we've got the yarn smokes again, and an opener. Hooksy, man.
That's a desk puncher right there. Really brutal for Brokey, but Rain is here to clean up. Ooh, God. Hunter onto Twist now as Rain looks to deliver another one, but Nico will deny him. JKS moving through in the A-bomb site. Look how fast his aim is. Always looking for the next person around the corner. And again, they've been wiped out. Rox with $0 in the bank. 1 versus 4, trying to hide in an unlikely position. They could feed him as well. No mercy from G2. They keep FaZe focus on their CT side. And a 5-3 sent straight to Eco. G2 are in for a very good side. Even like the loss bonus is close to max for FaZe Clan. But G2 have got a lot of money in the bank. They're going to have to win a bunch of rounds to stabilize because G2 have got tons of cash.
That opener from Hooksy, he's just improved his individual level so much since he was first on the team. It's been great to see. He doesn't have to have crazy impact. He's just got to do a solid job. That flash has bounced back, but it won't be a problem. G2 are against a very weak buy in this one. That's part of the reason why Hooksy's got that back 10, looking to make some money. They overlook Rox in the corner. Been 2 kills there. Lucky to get away with that. I think G2 should now be fine, waltzing their way onto this B-bomb site.
Impressive the patience from Rox on that kill. There's a lot of information to disseminate very quickly. Again, just like in our previous series, everybody seems to be ready and focused. Offers for FaZe Clan though, again somewhat lacking at the moment. To be a painful existence on the CT side for them in the short term. Trying to see if they can steal anything. Brokey will be hiding for a while. Basically has nothing to lose. Well then, 6 rounds on the board for G2. Karrigan just inviting people to die to the bomb.
To Twist. May go down. He'll take an extra $300
to the coolant. I'll be dead to be in there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is already 6 T rounds for G2, and that was their entire half in the previous matchup between these 2 teams on Nuke. So the fact they've reached that number already is great for them. If they can get a few more in this half, they'll be in a very, very good position. And FaZe, again, have to dig deep. Big round here. This time the utility is better for them. They can put down the early incendiaries, and Nico is taking a tag on Yard, but it's not going to slow him down.
JKS receiving a chunky grenade as well. Rain, he's got a shadow advantage here for a bit of pre-fire. Very important outside, as we can see.
And the bomb dropped. And Nico didn't look like he was on the same page. He was kind of tucking back there while his team went forwards.
Just what FaZe Clan were looking for. Really hurt the chances for G2 in round number 10. 3 players remaining. That early damage as well on Nico and JKS to make things even harder. They can't take that one bullet. .53 seconds and immersive smokes for now. That's the last one for FaZe Clan though. Bomb still waiting for them. Oh, then Nico, very handy sniper as well. I'm sure everybody remembers Nico in the AWP. 28 seconds and Rops with an AWP of his own to deny Nico. And now G2 are at risk of losing everything. Unable to make it more expensive for FaZe Clan. This is exactly the kind of round they needed.
It is what they needed, but it's also just so strong in terms of the economy for G2. I mean, Hunter's about to max out on cash. So it's not like you're going to be having any easy rounds anytime soon. Had some wild stats from the desk earlier. Neither of these teams have lost a series this year. I mean, G2 have won their last 6 series 2-0. They haven't dropped a map in a long, long time. They've just looked so good. If there were a team who could do it, FaZe would be top of that list.
Second sniper.
Yeah.
Brokey and Robs will continue. Toys gifted to them.
Rob's playing on ramp. Definitely a spot that's capable of having impact with the AWP if they come your way. Yard has been a big focus here for G2, but not as successful in recent rounds. There's always the option to fake those Yard smokes and hope that you can draw the attention long enough to quickly pop onto A. They've got some nades up top, ready to be prepared here.
Nico lined up in a particular position for grenades, as we can see. Monacy is as well. Those will be heading towards the hut roof, and in comes the charge from G2. Carrigan delivers, though that smoke will be perfect for him. Nico can barely see, trying to switch weapon, but that will allow the opening into the A-bomb site. Hunter with 2, JKS with the molly, and we're down to a 2 versus 2. Again, the numbers game abused into the A-bomb site. The trades get there eventually.
Forced to plant on the far side of the site, though. Keep that in mind in this post plant. They may have to play for kills early. And is Monacy ready for this big flank? Oh, back turned at the wrong time, but it's still 2 AWPs on the retake. And a tight angle for Hunter. Clear him out here. Tucked in, here's the steps. First mag might swing on towards him, but he just plays time. Oh, planted behind, but it doesn't matter! Hunter with a massive lineup, a quad kill on the round, and G2 keep going.
Just a casual clutch for him. No reaction whatsoever. Believes in himself. Doesn't peek, doesn't jiggle. Knows where the first player is after the second player makes steps in main, swings, and they've lined up perfectly. Unbelievable stuff